This episode of Techzilla is brought to you by Carbonite. Time to get our HD Nation on. Our first question comes from App Judgment's very own Annie. She pinged us and asked, I'm on the hook for my own media setup for the first time, as I've always lived with roommates who brought HDTVs, or TVs, into the picture. I am small budget and low maintenance. My needs are a very cheap, cable-free, as few recurring monthly payments as possible, wholly web source media setup. So far, I have the following to work with: a 2-year-old MacBook Pro, a Netflix account, a high tolerance for less than premium quality experience, only a desire to watch video, not while crouched into my laptop. I mostly watch dumb shows, sitcom reruns, The Daily Show, stuff like that. Annie. It was funny. Annie asked me about this yesterday, and I'm like, okay, we're talking about this on the show today. Let me pull up a visual aid here really quickly. Because one of the big things that she wanted was Hulu Plus. So I'm like, okay, Netflix is on everything. Pretty much. You know what I mean? It's like you look at the Netflix, basically Netflix devices, there's the Xbox 360, the PS3, the Wii, most Blu-ray players made today, most HDTVs made today. There's just a billion ways to watch it. Hulu gets a little more selective, but you go to Hulu Plus, and the thing I started thinking about when you want to spend as little money as possible is the fact that there are a lot of TVs that have Hulu Plus and Amazon Prime and
totally Vudu and other
Netflix
services.
and Vudu all built in. So if we want to concentrate on one of our favorite brands, Samsung, you go to basically you want one of Samsung's smart TVs, and then if you want it cheap, and Annie wants it very cheap, because she just basically dropped 3 years of her allowance on her deposit on the apartment. You start looking at all the options on a Samsung smart TV.
Totally.
And I'm thinking probably a 42-inch.
That'd be great. It really just depends what kind of space you have. I mean, you want to go as big as you can within budget.
She can't touch both rooms at the same, or both walls of the room at the same time, but it's close. And it's funny, a lot of times, people who have spent a lot of time in the last few years with standard definition television, they hear 42 or 46-inch HDTV, and they're like, that's huge! But HDTV is different from standard definition television. Standard definition television, very low resolution. If you get closer to 8 feet to it, your eyes are going to fall out of your face. So you want actually to obey the Kell factor, or be aware of the Kell factor. Kell factor says the higher the resolution on the screen, the closer you can sit to it comfortably. And the bigger the screen you get, the more cinematic your experience is going to be.
Particularly with high resolution video, like a Blu-ray movie or an HDTV, or HD content of some kind.
So I know you can do like a 42-inch Samsung. I don't know if LG or Samsung have like a 32-inch smart TV.
Probably do. They probably have the functionality built in, but if that wasn't the case and you already had, say, a flat panel that you're comfortable with and maybe didn't have that kind of functionality built in, consider just upgrading with a Blu-ray player. Many of the new players from Samsung, LG, and others all incorporate the streaming functionality that you would get in a smart TV. So if you have equipment already that you could use and don't have the TV already, consider adding another product like that. Or if you already have a game console, like you said, Xbox 360, I believe they do Hulu Plus as well. I know PS3 does. And you have the other options too for video delivery, be it, Vudu has those dollar movie specials every day that I just love. And I think if you got $1 and the movie that they're offering that day is, something you like, throw it down and enjoy it in high quality. And surround sound as well from a streaming source.
But if you don't care about Blu-ray and you're cutting the cable from cable or satellite, an HDTV that supports the features, basically an HDTV that has all the streaming services you want, that is the simplest way to get all of it in one box.
Indeed.
And you can get it in a pretty cheap box if you shop carefully and go for a smaller screen size.
The other thing I might recommend is maybe getting wireless built into the TV if possible, or that's kind of nicer than I said, adding the little, usually expensive USB wireless sticks that the TVs with wireless ready might offer. So that'd be one thing to keep in mind too. Or if you have Ethernet sitting right there, just plug it in. Every smart TV is going to have an Ethernet jack in the back that you can just plug in. So that's the way to go.
Yeah. If you want to spend like under $750 for your television, you're probably going to end up buying another box to get the services you want. Maybe. But that's a conversation for another day.
I know Vizio's got some good deals too on their connected TVs as well. So lots of options. Moving on though. Josh from Baltimore sent us this email. I recently purchased a refurbished Optoma HD20 projector, which I absolutely love since nothing compares to a 72 to 100-inch picture.
Damn skippy.
I'd like to have a spare bulb lamp available when time comes around to replace it. I found conflicting options about whether it's good to relamp, i.e. replace the bulb in the housing of the projector module, rather than buy an entire new module. I'm a very frugal person and fairly adept at repairing gadgets. So do you think this is a safe thing to be doing, or should I steer clear and just fork over the extra cash for a new housing module that includes the lamp? As a side note, what are Patrick's picture settings for that Optoma HD 180 projector? Signed Josh from Baltimore, Maryland.
So the HD20, HD 180, essentially the exact same inexpensive 1080p projector it's just super affordable, and if you find it on like sellout.woot or some other website, you can pick it up for $650. I
can't think of a more affordable 1080p projector off the top of my head, and the 720p model is only a couple $100 cheaper.
Right.
So if you don't own a projector, go get one. They're handy devices to have around. But I would put this whole relamping thing in the it's not a good idea category.
Right. and it's funny, part of the reason, if you've never owned a rear projection television or a front projector, basically a huge percentage of the price of that is usually the lamp, or at least a painful,
It can be 10% of the price of the projector. Or for high-end projectors, you're talking a couple $1,000 usually for a lamp module for a really high-end projector. And for some, $200 to $400 for either a rear projection or a consumer front projection system. I always go to the manufacturer. I go with the lamp module they recommend. And I really don't suggest trying to replace a lamp in a projector lamp module. The main concerns I really have, electrical fire is number one. If you don't reassemble that thing properly, including getting all the soldering just right and all the wiring hooked up just right, you could be creating a hazard that you may not be around to prevent. Also, equipment damage. The projector itself, if you don't properly realign the lamp with the housing, you could mess that up as well. Also, risk of time and money. You could do this investment, find the right lamp module, get it all together, never mind that, and it could all not work. And then you'd still have to go out and buy a new lamp module anyway. And of course, kiss the warranty goodbye.
Right.
Now, all that said, if you do succumb to the madness of trying to do this yourself, please do not upgrade the module with a more powerful lamp. Exceeding the thermal envelope will mess you up 9 times out of 10. You don't want to melt the projector, and you can't really get away with putting something in there that's hotter than it was designed to originally hold.
Yeah, respect the thermal envelope. It's kind of funny. This is a picture of
that's
this
a
is
lamp
a typical
module.
lamp module. And the part he wants to replace is this little silver section back here. You might be able to buy that.
Just the lamp.
Yeah,
you probably
just the
can.
lamp.
You can probably dig around and find it, but
you could also possibly burn your house down, trash.
Those things are also made, they're not as easy as you think to get those things apart.
Right.
And some of them are really like one-use devices, so they really weren't made to be repurposed. Keep all that in mind. However, if you do have any kind of projection system that uses a lamp, some tips for keeping it, making it last as long as possible. Number one, keep it clean. The projector and the room. Basically, keep dust off the projector. Let the air flow through it to keep the lamp as cool as it can be while it's operating. Also, avoid bumping or jarring the projector when it's in operation, especially when it's hot. That's when it can be damaged most easily. And if your viewing room is dark enough, enable the projector or the TV's echo mode or economy mode for a little less brightness, but it could translate into much longer lamp life and reduce the generated heat. So.
That's eco, green boy.
Eco.
Eco.
Echo, eco. Am I thinking of the dolphin? Echo? No.
Echo?
Echo, echo.
You got quite the response to the picture-in-picture on HDTV question.
I went to the source. I said I was going to find out some more about this. And as a follow-up to that question last week, and a discussion about the picture-in-picture feature available on some HDTVs, I went to Alex Chervet, the Senior Director of Marketing at Silicon Image, aka the gatekeepers, innovators, and shepherds of all things HDMI. He responded writing, quote, "The DTV silicon on chip, the SoC, is not structured to decode and show more than a single channel of HDMI." Get that? The tuner input to the SoC is through a different video path, that would be the DTV tuner, and it turns out that allowing the picture-in-picture between a tuner and HDMI can often be done at little or no additional cost. So it's a feature that many TVs provide. Now, I can even bring up here the good old Silicon Image folks, and I can even show an image. They have a new technology called Insta Preview. Here, let me bring up a picture of that, what that would look like in action. And in a sense, this will be something they just introduced, and as you can see on the left side there, your standard HDTV, where if you hit the source button, it would give you a list of HDMI ports. On the new setup using this Insta Preview technology, they're basically able to do the blending of the picture-in-picture before the signal gets to the TV, to the TV system on a chip, or a silicon on chip. So this would allow, you could basically have a preview of what's connected to that HDMI port without a significant additional cost to the TV. Now, I could see this pretty much happening. TV manufacturers who will be incorporating Instant Preview in their new TVs could do this kind of picture-in-picture where you can actually see the video picture from a variety of different HDMI sources. But it's currently not enabled in any TV out there. They will also, of course, be able to support tuner and tuner picture-in-picture, or tuner picture-in-picture as well, as we currently have. So while I have no doubt that the HDTV manufacturers will be adopting Instant Preview, this kind of HDMI preview for their 2012 premium TVs, just as they added Silicon Image's InstaPort Tech a couple of years ago that enabled fast HDMI switching, so you didn't have a long delay between switching ports. I see that happening. And given that it wouldn't cost too much to develop and implement a more flexible picture-in-picture system using something like Instant Preview, the odds of basically enhancing that picture-in-picture to support a broader selection of sources is going to be greater than zero. However, unless we politely ask in great enough numbers, I doubt that the big HDTV manufacturers will bother doing it. That's really what it kind of boils down to. Unless we ask, they won't do it.
Email,
Yeah.
beg.
It's kind of cool. They just so happen to introduce this Instant Preview, and that'll basically allow you to keep alive the HDMI ports as you're switching around and be able to see that content.
Right.
So it could be done. We just got to pressure them a little bit to do it. I think once they do it and it's all kind of baked,
right,
they'll just flood every other model they have with that same function. So it's just a matter of pushing them over the tipping limit of doing it. So hey, now it's time for the new Blu-ray releases for the week of October 4th, 2012. First up, Pulp Fiction. Finally, John Travolta, Samuel L. Jackson, Uma Thurman, just to name a few, starring one of Tarantino's best flicks. This release comes in an MPEG-4 AVC codec, a DTS HD Master Audio 5.1 soundtrack, and a 235:1 aspect ratio. Blu-ray.com gives the video quality a 4.5 out of 5, noting that Tarantino himself oversaw the transfer and called it, quote, one of the most filmically accurate transfers in recent memory, with beautifully variegated color, more than abundant fine detail, excellent contrast, and solid black levels, unquote. Extras include a 43-minute retrospective with the cast and crew, an hour-long interview of Tarantino from The Charlie Rose Show, a 20-minute chat with critics, a 30-minute documentary, 24 minutes of deleted scenes, 10 minutes of behind the scenes, an 11-minute interview of Tarantino by Michael Moore, a 16-minute segment from Siskel and Ebert at the movies, 18 TV spots from around the world, a stills gallery, and an enhanced trivia track. Next up, Pee-wee's Big Adventure. This 1985 classic was Tim Burton's first feature film as director and stars Paul Rubens as that wacky character we all know and love, Pee-wee Herman. It comes in an MPEG-4 AVC codec, DTS HD Master Audio 5.1 soundtrack, and a 177:1 aspect ratio. Blu-ray.com gives the video 3.5 out of 5 stars, saying black levels, contrast, and details are generally good and consistent, but the video noise varies from scene to scene. Extras include a commentary with Tim Burton and Paul Rubens, 11 minutes of deleted scenes, 11 minutes of production sketches and storyboards, and a music-only track with commentary by Danny Elfman. Also released this week, Fast 5. This is the 5th film in the Fast and the Furious franchise and is also widely acknowledged to be the best of the 5, with a Rotten Tomatoes score of 78%. Higher than the other 4, actually. It comes in an MPEG-4 AVC codec, DTS HD Master Audio 5.1 soundtrack, and a 235:1 aspect ratio. High Def Digest gives the video a 4.5 out of 5 stars, saying that, quote, it's easy to see the ability of HD to give the most realistic representation of real life, unquote. This release also includes both the theatrical and extended cuts, although the extended only adds an extra 2 minutes. Also included is an audio commentary with the director, a picture-in-picture commentary track with the cast and crew, 2 minutes of deleted scenes, a 4-minute gag reel, a 26-minute scene explorer, which shows the opening scene in 3 panes, the pre-visuals, the dailies, and behind the scenes, all simultaneously. Other features include over an hour of extras spread across 10 featurettes, and a second screen interactive viewing feature that lets you dig deeper using a tablet or computer. And as always, check out our show notes at techzilla.com or hdnation.tv for links to the rest of this week's Blu-ray releases. Hey, it's time to thank one of our sponsors, Carbonite. Computer disasters will happen to everyone. Hardware failures, viruses and malware infections, theft, fire, even accidents. But if you get Carbonite Online Backup before your disaster, then there's no need to worry. Why? Because your files are backed up automatically and safely off-site. And Carbonite makes it really easy to get them back. Plus, you get anytime, anywhere access to your backed up files from any computer or your smartphone or iPad with a free Carbonite app. With Carbonite, unlimited backup to your PC or Mac is just $59 a year. That's less than $5 a month. But when you use the code TechZilla to start your free 15-day trial, you'll get 2 months free if you decide to buy. All the details are at Carbonite.com, and remember to use the offer code TechZilla to get 2 months free with purchase.